Result, let's talk some crypto. What's been going on today, yesterday, over the weekend? A little bit of news, not a whole lot. Bitcoin, of course, hitting $50,000. Probably due partly to PayPal offering its crypto services in UK, but it was at 49,000. I think that the push from the UK would actually be a little bit more than that as the product ramps up. I think that the higher that the Bitcoin price actually goes when it does decide to push, again, I am looking for the end of the week. Otherwise, I'm thinking it's probably going to sit right around 48 to 50,000. Once Bitcoin starts to push and it starts making some real gains that make some headlines, people have a very quick and readily available on ramp here in the UK now with their PayPal being able to purchase Bitcoin through it. So I think that could actually fuel the fire where things can rise a little faster than people would expect. You don't have to go out now and go, Bitcoin's up. I got to go figure out a Coinbase account and go figure out my KYC and then go clear it with my bank or wire some funds off to the exchange. It's nope. You use your phone and hit the PayPal thing and buy Bitcoin. And that's for UK. We already know that it is coming to the United States as well for people out there. But for anyone who thinks, it's kind of silly at this point, but there are a lot of people out there who think that, the cryptocurrency is a fad, or it's a scam, or it's fantasy internet money. Now, PayPal, Amazon, Grayscale, BlackRock, big companies are not going to put their money into scams, and they're not going to build entire infrastructures around something that's a scam or something that's a not based on anything or has no actual value. Countries like El Salvador, which we will talk about in our next article here, countries don't adopt it as legal tender unless it's really good. All right, so we'll take a look at this article here. Bitcoin crosses $50,000 as PayPal offers crypto products in UK. Bitcoin has rallied above 50,000 for the first time since mid-May. The world's biggest cryptocurrency climbed to a 3-month high of 50,379 early Monday morning. Bitcoin remained up 2.4% by mid-morning on London. Other major cryptocurrencies were also rallying on Monday, with Ethereum up 2%. Ethereum has actually been kind of lagging lately, and Cardano up 7%, which has really been moving fast. The broader cryptocurrency market was up 1.7% over 24 hours to Monday morning, to reach a market cap of 2.14 trillion, according to data provided by Market Cap. Now, I would expect actually that, as I said, when Bitcoin rallies a little bit higher, that having PayPal involved with the simplicity and ease of payment is going to make things rally quicker than they had before. Again, I don't see Bitcoin really taking off until after the end of this week, if not even later than that. But while Bitcoin is below 50,000, it's not a bad idea to dollar cost average or put a little bit of money into it because of both the PayPal launch here and El Salvador goes live September 7th. And we've never seen what it looks like to a market. I'll go ahead and bring that up. We've never seen what it looks like to a cryptocurrency market when a country has to use it, right? It's like a sure thing, right? Isn't it? That the market would go up based on, well, there's like 1 million people in El Salvador. Anybody doing business, they have to accept it as currency. It doesn't mean everyone is going to use that. You can exchange your Bitcoin for US dollars and whatever their local currency is. But if somebody does want to use Bitcoin, they have to take it. So we've never seen what this is going to look like on the market. So at least temporarily, it's not a bad idea. You've got some money to throw it into Bitcoin, because who knows what's going to happen. That's not to say that Bitcoin couldn't go down to 48,000 tomorrow, and could. I don't believe that it's going to shoot to the moon though, for a little bit. I think we're going to continue sideways, but it's not a bad idea. And I decided to move some money from an asset that wasn't performing like as well as I'd wanted it to into Bitcoin, just to park it, because when you have money in Bitcoin, if you decide to pick up an altcoin, well, you can go to any exchange anywhere, and they'll take your Bitcoin for whatever kind of garbage you want to pick up. Right? They'll take your Bitcoin. They won't take your Federal Reserve, but they'll take your Bitcoin. Right? So it's not a bad idea. And while we're talking on El Salvador, this was the news of the day. President of El Salvador Bitcoin law will be supported by 200 ATMs and 50 branches. They're using something called Chivo. President of El Salvador announced that 200 ATMs and 50 in-person kiosks are being built to launch on September 7th. President Bukele also noted the government will facilitate the buying and selling of Bitcoin without collecting any commission. Okay? Without collecting any commission. That's how bad they want people to use it. Like, there's no transfer fees at all. There's transfer fees when I want to transfer my Bitcoin into US dollars. El Salvador, there isn't any. Which makes sense being that it's US currency. I wonder what else you can transfer it to. President of El Salvador, let's see. His Twitter thread suggested many ways El Salvadorians can choose to benefit from the simple onboarding into Bitcoin the government promised to provide, such as receiving payment in Bitcoin through Chivo app, or instead choosing to cash Bitcoin out in one of the 200 ATMs. So it said you could either use it in its form as Bitcoin, or you can cash it out instantly, whichever you want to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the market, like I said. Perhaps the biggest advantage to the citizens who use Chivo will be the ability to send and receive remittances without any additional fee. Bukele, and I'm probably butchering his name, our town pays $400 million a year on commissions and remittances. This is like just all of the headache paperwork you have to pay banks and all of these services, you know, similar to like a PayPal or similar to like these other things where you have to convert funds from one type to another and get them over and convert currencies when you're doing international trade and businesses who are buying from other countries. Remember, El Salvador is a small country. I'm sure they import a lot. And all of these things. And everyone wants to get their little piece. This is where XRP, and a lot of people love XRP, is because XRP was designed to bypass all of that, right? I think MoneyGram actually saved something like $1 billion in their fees and all of the different things that MoneyGram has to do to get US dollars into pesos or into whatever, just for the costs. And using XRP, they didn't have any overhead anymore. So that's amazing. You know, 400 million just by switching over to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, the big thing like a year and a half ago when I was getting more into Bitcoin was that Bitcoin was slow and Bitcoin transaction fees were high. That's what people were saying. And I'm like, when I did this transaction, I was converting from one coin, selling it on a decentralized exchange, so it's nice and private, and getting Bitcoin, and then transferring that to an offline wallet. Okay, that transaction cost me 4 cents. Okay, it cost me 4 cents doing it in Bitcoin. There wasn't any big, huge fees. And I will say that the currency that I was using to initially I took it off a wallet and put it on an exchange before selling it and transferring it into Bitcoin. That currency was supposed to be lightning fast, and it took about 5 to 10 minutes for it to reach the exchange. My Bitcoin went in about 15 seconds. I don't know why. Maybe it's automatically using Lightning Network going from this DeFi exchange. I don't know. But it was faster and it was cheaper using Bitcoin. So, as you can see, is all the complaints about the transaction limits and the speed of Bitcoin and yada, 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 all these negative things that people have to say about Bitcoin. In practice, I have never run into any of them. A year and a half ago, yeah, it took 5-10 minutes for a transaction to go through, but so what? How much trading are you doing? With Lightning Network, it's almost instant. And from what I understand, that El Salvador is going to be using Lightning Network, which is why I'm also looking into setting up a Lightning node. Apparently, you can make a little bit of money on that, support the network. I don't know. But these things that the reason for all these alternate coins and the reason that they're developed is to be better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's old. Bitcoin's trash. It's supposed to be better than Bitcoin. Well, it's all software that can all be upgraded, and you can use layer 2 solutions like Litecoin, or not like Litecoin, like Lightning Network, to handle all of these things that you want Bitcoin to do. And El Salvador is proof of that. And with a country adopting it as currency, any limitations or anything where they need improvements, they can actually, upgrade that, either upgrade Lightning or another token they can ride across Bitcoin to do the things that they need to do, right? It's a perfect test bed. And it's great. Very, very, very bullish on Bitcoin. And, there's people like Max Kaiser who are saying they made the prediction in January, beginning this year, January this year, of a $220,000 Bitcoin. And it's like, well, if you follow the 2017, 2018 bull run, that is possible. And then you have your 4-year halving cycles. And it's like, I'm stuck. I'm going to be at 80,000 and I'm going to be a downer. I'm going to be a bear. But I can see how it's entirely possible with adoption like El Salvador, with PayPal on board in the UK now, and I'm sure the US probably by the end of the year. As well as all the over-the-counter trades that are going on in the background by the big players. It is entirely possible to see a 220,000 Bitcoin by the end of the the end of the bull market, or the end of this cycle, they say, which would push it, a little bit later after the end of the year. Whether or not that happens or not, I don't know. I'll be very happy with 80,000. Tell you that. I'll be happy with 80,000. But 220, yeah, let's go. Let's roll. El Salvador, along with their releasing of the current, basically they said, we're gonna go to a Bitcoin standard. Now you banks have to figure it out, and they're figuring out what they're doing with their banking deal, how their international, or their major bank, like the Federal Reserve, sort of for El Salvador, is going to work. And as you figure, it's going to be all KYC stuff, just like an American exchange. They want to control the on-ramps pretty good in there. But this is the interesting part. Now, hopefully people are familiar, at least, in anyone who does anything with investments, that what everybody uses is fiat currency, which is based on what's called a fractional reserve system. But really, that's kind of went away, where there's no collateral for the money that you're printing anymore. It used to be that you had to have a certain amount of gold to back your money, and it could be 20 to 1 or something like that, right? But that kind of went away. The idea, though, is that you have to have a certain amount of cash on hand, or you have to be good for a certain amount of money before you give a loan. So if you gave a loan for $300,000, the bank is supposed to have $3,000 or something in cash that's ready and available for people to withdraw. Well, because Bitcoin is not fiat and Bitcoin is real money, it says down here in this paragraph, all Bitcoin held by banks and companies must be fully backed, as opposed to a fractional reserve. Dollars will be held at the central bank, while BTC is held with a custodian, services for which can be contracted out. So every single nickel of Bitcoin that they have to have it backed by something. Bitcoin is hard money in El Salvador. Hard money. Completely hard money. And I thought that was very, very interesting. And with that, that's really all there is for the news. It is Monday, and we're going to do the dollar cost average thing. I'm going to try to actually get someone on here to do some picks, because I'll talk about this briefly. I'll do another video for actually what we're investing into, because I'm going to make some serious adjustments to the gambler profile. The example for an investor is up 18% on the week. Can I change this to... No, it doesn't go to transaction, unfortunately. Last trade. There we go. So, 18% on the week. Bitcoin's up 13%. Ethereum is up 12.8%. Engine Coin's up 46.98%. Polkadot is up 15%. And Chainlink is up 26%. And that's since last trade. So I think this is 2 weeks ago when I created this dollar cost averaging portfolio. So in total, we started with $1,000, and since then I have added $100. So it's up $200 on this last week. We'll go to our gambler's example. Let's see. Total is around $1,300 for our invest. The gambler example is $1,400. So you may be thinking, well, why not be a gambler? Wait until the market goes down. Okay. Wait until the market goes down. An altcoin has no purpose whatsoever if it cannot keep up with Bitcoin. From an investment perspective, there is no reason to put any money into anything else if it does not perform better than Bitcoin. Point blank. It has to have bigger highs. It has to run faster. Otherwise, there's no reason to have that kind of exposure to risk when you could just do Bitcoin. So, in looking at this, I think that this should be closer to about 30% for gains on gambler coins. So we're going to restructure. Remember, when I started this, I started with just meme coins and just kind of garbage as to example of why you don't get into dumb stuff. But I think it would be more beneficial actually to have some projects that are okay, decent, right? That have the you'd say they have their stuff put together well enough where they're not fly by night, not pump and dumps, and they do return some decent gains, and have a more of a portfolio like that. For instance, if you only have like $100 to invest, for a month, right? Well, if you $100 of Bitcoin is not going to do a whole heck of a lot. At that, in the very, very, very small amounts of money, it's probably better off going into something that's like a Polkadot, right? Still a very strong, but it performs, it goes up 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300%, right? Where you can multiply your money and then use your profits from that to roll into some Bitcoin. I think everybody, if you're in that position where you have almost no money to spend on crypto but want to get exposure, you go into some of the faster movers that are really in my investment portfolio that are good, solid projects like Polkadot. Is not very expensive. It's at $27 a coin right now, which isn't too bad. You can buy $100, you can get almost 4 Polkadot, right? So a Polkadot doubles, then you'd be in some good shape. Now, if you're in the position where you're dealing with that small numbers of money, it's like kind of just focus on getting like $500 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, and then that's your Bitcoin bag. And then once you have $500 worth in Bitcoin, then maybe some of these other projects will have a greater return. But pay attention to people when they say, that we're looking for a market correction, because you want to be able to move your stuff into Bitcoin, because the altcoins go down a lot farther than Bitcoin ever will. So on our DCA example, gambling, it is ahead. It should be, in my opinion, around $1,500 in 2 weeks, which would gain $400. It would have gained 40% is where I should on a gambler, where you're really taking high speculation and high risk on this. So we are going to go through here, and one of the ways to tell what's worth hanging on to and what's not. Let's go. I'm on last trade on there. We'll go to our investor and we'll go to our last trade here. So Bitcoin, since I purchased it for this account, has gone up 13.65%. All right. So we got to compare everything to Bitcoin now. So DCA example, we're going to Dogecoin. Dogecoin, remember, make sure it's on last trade. Okay, Dogecoin is up 31%. So it's running twice as fast as what Bitcoin was doing. So that's a keeper. XRP is up 54%. So that's a keeper. Pirate Chain is only up 8.2%. So Pirate Chain's not a keeper, but I did look at Pirate Chain and it's up 90% from where it fell to. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one yet. Stellar XLM is up 30%. Sounds like that one could be a keeper. Atari is up 20%. I maybe want to run a little faster, but Atari did have an astounding like 40% bump the other day. I don't know what Atari is doing anything at all. I think Atari just wanted to make a coin. That doesn't matter from a money-making investment perspective. If it doesn't matter what the coin does, if people like it and you're only going to be in the coin for 2 weeks to try and catch some of a rise in the market, who cares what the coin does? It's the investing part where you're just set it and forget it, where you have to be very, you have to have good stuff. You got to have your blue chip stock. Shiba Inu, only 11.87%. Now, granted, I only have $40 into Shiba, but for a meme coin, it's got to do better than that. It's going to have to do better than that. SafeMoon, of course, is at 1.95%. But I was amazed that one day the markets were all red on everything, and I looked at this, and SafeMoon was up by like 5%. It was the only thing in the market. So, I don't know. Anyways, that's what we currently have. And what I will do is I will remove some of the stuff that is not running fast enough in comparison to Bitcoin. And we will see what we end up with. And I'll probably do another video going all the way through that. What I'd like to do is actually invite a friend on to talk basics of crypto and things that they may be interested in, questions that a average guy off the street would like to have answered. And that might be kind of fun for a program. So look forward to that. And yeah, with that, guys, we will see you later with our updated dollar cost averaging investment portfolio.